I'm a busy man.
Okay.
I have to write 6 quartets commissioned by the prince himself.
Okay.
You know what that means, to write quartets for the Prince of Leipzig? It means that I am important.
Okay.
And when I'm not writing, there is a woman waiting for me in my bed.
Okay.
I have friends to visit, a family to feed.
Okay.
Okay, what?
I understand.
How do you understand? What do you have to do in life?
Survive.
But you don't do anything. You eat sun, you drink water, you wave in the wind.
I love the sun, and the sun loves me. I love water, and water loves me. I love the wind, and the wind loves me.
Like I said.
I don't try to earn my right to exist like you.
Try? I have earned my right. I am Ludwig van Beethoven.
I don't lie to myself that there is anything more important than love.
Friends behind. What friends? Leave worldly possessions. Check. Though they left me first, really. Wander into the wilderness. Drive anyway. Check. Wilderness? Good enough. Build a shelter. Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Jesus didn't do that, did he? Find a quiet place. That's impossible these days. You practically have to go deaf to search it out. And even then, you know, life used to be either wild or elegant. Never so deliberately ugly as it is now. Stay in the desert until you have a dream that comes true.
There is no cure for the common cold. And because there is no cure, there are millions of methods of dealing with it, and not all of them are safe. That is why the Food and Drug Administration is necessary. There has to be a body that is listing and approving all medications. Otherwise, Indian doctors with their snake oils would slither in here and have a ball. Give false hope. Criminals.
Well, is giving false hope a criminal act in the medical profession, Doc?
Yes, I believe it should be criminal. I always tell my students what is up. If a person is going to die, they should know. If a person is facing a life of pain, they should know. Knowledge is power.
So there's no way the illegal drug known as ayahuasca could cure lupus?
Ayahuasca is a dangerous substance that absolutely could not cure lupus, an illness that is by definition incurable.
Well, why would a person say that could cause illness, Doctor?
Well, the real question, the fundamental question is, what are these people who are doing illegal drugs hoping for? I know addiction is a mystery, but we have here a privileged civilian with nothing to run from, so I don't know. Laziness, boredom, the thrill, childhood trauma? Who knows? That's not what medicine does, is answer such questions. We test potential substances and work with the FDA and conduct phase 4 clinical trials. That's how we find out what works and what doesn't.
Well, how reliable would you say that current medical knowledge is regarding medication?
The most reliable source out there. Of course, there are flukes and things you can't explain. For example, no medication for children or pregnant women is ever tested. You realize that? Because the only people testing on children and pregnant women are Hitler and, well, Hitler. We don't do that. We use safe and reliable testing methods and all those other banal little techniques, garlic and honey, echinacea, whatever. They all have the same efficacy, which is none. There is no cure for the common cold. I tell my patients, some things just have to pass through the body. Time and illness must pass through the body, and there is no cure for either one. Or as my grandfather used to say, the malady is seasonal and the cure is in the end.
No further questions.
Doctor, you say there's no cure for lupus. Yet how do you explain my client's sudden and stable remission from a 15-year-long lasting disease?
I don't know.
Well, do you think that there's even the slightest possibility that her taking ayahuasca might have pushed her body into remission?
I told you we have no proof.
So it might have influenced her condition.
Well, life happens sometimes. What has an effect, what doesn't? Could be the weather, could be your body changing and flipping its own switch. I told you sometimes it's time and has to pass through the body. But ayahuasca is dangerous and toxic and should not be used by anyone, ever, under any circumstances.
No further questions.
They don't understand my music. Plebeians, idiots, lumpen proletariat. It is not necessary to understand. One needs to hear. But what?
Nothing.
What is it?
It's you. You look so funny. I wish I could laugh.
You do.
No. I wish I could put the laughter into my roots and feel them shake the earth. The wind is the closest I get to the feeling you have when the humors in your belly rise up like bubbles. You have no idea how wonderful you are. Your capacity for
For what?
doing things that are completely unnecessary.
Oh, you insult me, you overgreen, over-furnace set piece. I am a serious composer. Nothing I do is unnecessary.
Delightful, really. The universe mirrors your smile. You blink, you giggle. For no other reason, you are play. For no evolutionary purpose. How do we love you just for that? Without you dance, the way you dance, without the wind toppling you this way and that.
I don't dance.
Don't lose that. Please. Don't forget how beautiful you are when you're not thinking about the point of it all. When flowers mushroom out of your nostrils and you marvel just at that.
You see flowers in my breath?
You don't.
Liar! Liar!
only the first dream. First one's never the one you're looking for. That's what I told my first wife. When she plucked me like a chicken in the divorce proceedings. You never get the first one right. Confused my purpose for a long time. Got my MBA, went to law school for a week, learned welding. I tried to go to war. At first they didn't let me, considering how fucked up people come back. I was surprised they thought I was too fucked to go. Chaya. She's here somewhere. She usually hangs around. She's the one who howled and said it wasn't my path. She said the spirits made sure I was fucked in the head before I was even born. So I wouldn't get any funny ideas about falling asleep on the job. That's what she calls it. She muttered and whistled in my ear like moon spots at night, revving up into jazz. And I understood falling asleep on the job is what a lot of humans do, she said. And Chaya, my Chaya, she said, we already forget everything. We already fucked in the heart before we even born. So falling asleep on the job, fucking ourselves in the head isn't helping anything. When Chaya said that, I knew I was meant to be a leader of men. Because there ain't many of us, wide-eyed experiencers of all things human, because it's hard. It's hard not to fall asleep on the job. But a man's gotta eat. And spirits forget. We live in a capitalist, I drink your blood, you drink mine economy. Spirits forget, but people never do. Chaya didn't let me go to war. But the other spirits kept telling me to go. Where? I asked where? I didn't know! Until one night, some dust got caught in my throat, and I coughed and coughed until I cried, and Chaya whistled. When Chaya whistles, I know she's telling me to pay attention. I suddenly understood I had to go to where the dust and the water meet and separate like oil and milk. I had to go to the desert country. Then 9/11 happened, and I knew the universe was giving me a sign. I landed in Afghanistan and spent the next 4 years, largely coughing up towelhead dust. There she goes again, laughing at me. Chaya's got a humor, she does. So listen. So I didn't make it here the first time, did I? But I made it here anyway, didn't I?
Hey, one more.
What you're asking me to do is forget, know, discard every single medical breakthrough in Western civilization since Hippocrates.
No, I'm merely asking you to consider other medical tools utilized since Hippocrates.
Since penicillin, then. We know the body can be sick without the participation of the mind or the soul.
Do we?
Well, consider the alternative then. If we thought that the mind and the body were connected the way you suggest, we would be taking all of our chronic patients and sending them to therapy instead of giving them practical medicine to control their symptoms. And then you know what might happen? We might start burning people at the stake again if we suspected they had some kind of mental powers to manipulate physical bodies.
No, that's not what I
But that's the world you want?
No.
Really? That's what you want? Just because some nut job claimed that they cured an illness that can go into remission, but cannot be cured!
Doctor, please calm yourself.
Yes, you'll forgive me if I'm being rather passionate about this subject.
There is research to support the link between the body and the mind, specifically the body's processing of trauma, sometimes labeled euphemistically as stress, and the way that these stresses may cause disease.
Yes, of course. Stress can have an effect in triggering flare-ups. But you know what else can? The weather. A divorce. A move. A change in diet. In the medical establishment, stress is simply change. And all of life is change. So the only question is how the patient responds.
Yes, so if stress, including mental interpretations of outside events, can trigger flare-ups, then mightn't a deep process of de-stressing, like in this case a psychedelic trip where a plant spirit soothe your past and present traumas, mightn't that cause remission?
You're asking me about miracles,
No,
aren't you?
I'm not.
No, but really, you expect me to believe in miracles? Are we in church? People, because I don't believe or disbelieve. I read the literature, I know. That is so rare these days. I must be some kind of dinosaur, all of this interest in studies and proof and the scientific method and hello, reality, anyone? But you, every once in a while you, find some nut job who writes a book about how they injected themselves with gold-plated mammoth droppings and cured their cancer or their diabetes. I am so sick of it. Don't you think if there was a cure that we, society's healers, would be the first to accept it? Nay, to offer it. Who do you think we are? Monsters? Psychopaths? Whose sole aim is to banish sick people from their much-needed medication. Do not talk to me about medical miracles. Ask me about them. Who is the expert here? Who reads the literature? Who understands the literature that they read? Who is the expert? That is what I went to medical school
No further
for.
questions.
My woman left.
Oh.
Couldn't take it anymore. Wanted somebody stable. As if I was the one screaming all the time. She said she wanted someone who didn't go through pianos like a thirsty man downing beers in a pub. In the end, I couldn't even hear her yell. It was like she was already living in my head, feeding my blood with all of her complaints.
Oh. Oh.
Oh, don't act like you're all full of love.
I never said I was.
That's good, because love doesn't exist.
How interesting.
Every Sunday, she would get into her carriage and she would come over to my place and we would have tea together. Every week, she would get into her carriage and she'd look out the window and the big wooden wheels would hop over the cobblestones like little spring frogs. And now,
She's still moving. You people are always moving.
oh?
Well, someone has to distribute the seeds.
Well, is that what we are to you, pack mules?
Oh, wow.
I think you move more than you say you do.
Perceptive.
Why do you keep yourself veiled? Why do you never talk?
What am I doing right now?
You move, I've seen you move. You use my... No. You abuse my perception to make your point.
People always ask the wrong questions.
I don't do anything, Arves.
I'm sorry.
I thought we were friends.
We are.
You insult my species and then you call me a friend.
Let me tell you a story. A story about movement. About what it's like to leap across universes, all while having your roots deep, deep, deep in the soft earth. You human beings, you nuggets of meaning, you roll across the universe like loose wine corks at the bottom of a boat. You think you're steering that boat, hmm? You think you know where that boat is going. You think we're not all on that boat together?
Great, I'm talking to a tree. I'm sorry. I'm sorry! Look, I'll write you a sonata. A sonata about you.
Huh?
Your shape, your color. The shape of a lonely tear. A humble candle flame cradling prayers at a church. The petals of flowers. A tear as it rocks to and fro on the end of an eyelash. The shape of a woman's body. How did you evolve without that makes you move? Your life a commitment to place even unto death. What's it like to live with the knowledge that some human or animal could come by and destroy you?
Huh.
How are you not terrified not to have legs?
Huh.
What is it like to be that vulnerable?
It's honest.
Could you please describe for us your experience living with systemic lupus erythematosus?
It's like this. You get sick. You go to the doctor. The doctor diagnoses you, tells you what's wrong, gives you powders and chemicals to right your system. Your body has never trained in being your body.
body is not an expert in itself. Your body seems misguided sometimes. Your body just doesn't get it. It can't stop. Nobody touches your body. A sick body. The plague mentality never left our culture. The plague never left us. The past is never over. It's not even past. You get sick. You go to doctors, and doctors rattle their heads indecipherably. Your body speaks a language that nobody seems to understand. And this goes on for years and years and years. And all the while, you're trying to be a good patient. You swallow the right pills at the right time like a professional clock ticking for no other cause other than consistency and correctness. You eat the right food, you drink the right fluids, and even though right and wrong change as frequently as politics, try not to think about that too hard. All you know is that perseverance worked in school. So you apply it to your illness. I was diagnosed with systemic lupus erythematosus when I was 12 years old. It took me 15 years to find the key to my illness. And that was the benevolence of this world. And if it cost me my illness to discover how much love there is, how much we are the stuff of pure relationship, how my body and the body of a tree were made to touch, how the livingness of all things impresses upon my soul visions. So be it. Nobody chooses